And we are live. Hi guys, welcome to the Trash Picture Show. Today I'm joined by some very special guests and we are going to be discussing our expectations and our thoughts on Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, or not Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World Dominion. And
God, great start already.
Thanks, James. I'm joined by James Thompson, who you might know. He's got a very interesting YouTube station where he chats to people about their kind of introduction to YouTube and how it's benefited their mental health. And he also is an avid film fan, including Jurassic Park. We have the Jurassic Collector, Keane McCovey, who is a massive, and I mean massive, collector of all things Jurassic Park. He has an awesome channel. If you're looking for upcoming toys and releases from any of the Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movies, check out his channel. I'm also joined by Neelis, who has a very staunch love for Jurassic Park 3, but we won't hold that against him. We'll let him on the channel. And lastly, we have Mike Tharme, who is a former student and understudy of Ray Harryhausen and also a contributor to the Missing Compy podcast. So, guys, what are your expectations for Dominion? I'm going to start with James.
Oh boy! Why do you give it to me? I'm just going to ruin everything.
Well, you know, I'll start from the bottom and we can work our way up. Then, like, you know.
No, like, why don't you put us at the end, and then everyone else can have their nice opinions, and then my opinions come out, and they're all very contrarian, and everyone hates us. So
okay.
Why would you ever put me first?
Okay, you want me to skip and let Keane go? So.
Sure, let someone. I don't know who's not me go
first. Keane, what's your expectations? What do you hope to see in Jurassic World Dominion?
I'm just excited. I'm really excited for Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Jeff Goldblum to come back, and the fact that Colin Trevorrow said they've major roles in it, which is going to be exciting.
He was quoted saying that,
yeah. And that's going to be so obviously nostalgic, and I'm just like, I hope like some species that we haven't seen before will be in it. I've seen like there have been like pictures surfacing and stuff like that of like the snowy regions and stuff. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, of course we need something different, but I don't know like how Jurassic and snow. I hope there's not too much of the movie in snow. You know what I mean?
The thing is, Keane, you could look at it as an instigator. One or two things might happen in this movie, and they have stated that there's going to be more kind of paleontologically accurate dinosaurs. So be it biosyn creating feathered dinosaurs, or maybe the fact that they're off Nublar and they're in a more colder climate, that might be the mitigating factor on why some of the dinosaurs have quills or fur-like hair or feathers. That might be interesting. That for me anyway. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It is a big deviation from what we've seen before. But yeah, I continue. Sorry for cutting across you.
No, you're got it. No, I get that. I with you actually. Obviously, it would make sense for them to have feathers and stuff like that if they are in the snow. I made a video a couple months back now, I think, of like the species I'd like to see. One of the highest up there was Plesiosaurus. I really want to see a scene with Plesiosaurus, whether it be filmed at like Loch Ness or something like that, or just like a small sequence. But that would be so cool. Obviously, we have Mosasaurus, but I feel like Plesiosaurus would be a nice, like,
would you want to see it? Would you want to see it fight the Mosasaur, or would you just be happy to see it on its own?
Yeah, on its own. I don't need maybe Mosasaur fight. I mean, that could be cool, I guess, but. No, probably on its own. I think like attacking like a fisherman or something like that. Maybe for like the opening scene, that could be cool. I would really like to see that. And Dilophosaurus, 100%.
Yeah, I do. We're overdue a fucking Dilophosaurus appearance.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Neelis, what do you hope to see in the upcoming movie?
I have no expectations at this point.
Oh, good man. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm not sure. I'm not.
What would you like? Okay, in lieu of dinosaurs or scenarios.
Well, I've read the synopsis, which apparently is official, and that seemed kind of weird with Do we talk spoiler stuff? I'm not very big on talking spoiler stuff, but this thing is officially out there.
If you could keep it super vague, if you can keep it super vague.
Yeah. All right. Well, it said something about Alan and Ellie investigating something. So are they private detectives now? Why would they be investigating something?
Could they have been hired by the
might
DPG?
I don't even know if the DPG
Would they be stupid enough to be hired by Claire?
Well,
Sorry.
I don't even know if the DPG would even exist anymore. Like, not because
I don't know.
I mean, it would make sense to have someone to look after dinosaurs now that literally everywhere. I just don't know if they would exist in their current form because maybe Claire gave up on it. Who knows? Like,
the thing is, though, you're still going to have to deal with issues such as poachers and fucking have-a-go heroes trying to fucking, some...
Yeah, like Steven Spielberg when he killed that Triceratops at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out the dark day.
But to get back to your question, I try to keep an open mind, and we know very little about his new films, so it's hard to say. But I don't have really big expectations at this moment. What I'm hoping for is that it sort of continues where with what we got with Battle at Big Rock. I thought that had the right tone, and that was really a good short addition to the series. That was really exciting, and it was very well done. I hope that continues.
It was interesting to see that you had a very contemporary kind of normal scenario, such as a family going camping, and then to have these animals just come marauding into the scene. Whereas, like, a lot of people could argue, well, isn't that kind of like the start of The Lost World with the family and the picnic and stuff? But the thing was, with them, they kind of encroached on the island, whereas this is a multiple choice of what can fucking go wrong when these animals interact with people. Like, again, the thing I love with Battle of Big Rock was the end credits, where they actually used footage from around the internet, like with the little girl being chased by the chickens, and they took them out and replaced them with copies. I like that how modern society, like, would there be, instead of calling the police, would people just be there with their fucking smartphones watching a fucking T-Rex eat a herd of cattle, or would they, like, that's what's got me excited, just how it's going to impact on our universe, quote unquote, our universe. Like, Mike, what has got you excited, if anything, for Dominion?
Oh, Jesus, I hope you guys have got half an hour. So I'm excited for the snow scenes in particular, because not only would that mirror the opening of Jurassic World with the bird foot in the snow, but I'm also hoping that what we end up getting, I know this is kind of like a tiny little gripe and it's very personal to me, and probably the rest of you couldn't give two shits about it. But do you remember when Gray was looking through the Viewmaster at the old vintage dinosaur pictures? Right. Those are from a Harryhausen O'Brien film called The Animal World. And I would love to see in Dominion a kid watching an old rerun of The Valley of Guanji, because in this universe, one, they're probably not going to be making films very often on locations because they probably can't get access to them without it being hazardous to the cast and crew. But also, I can imagine a lot of old rerun films are probably coming in as well. So it would be nice to see a very, whether it be a family or of just a very geeky type of kid sitting down watching Valley of Guanji, and we just get that few seconds of shot to do that. I'd be quite happy with that.
It is funny how, like, in that universe, those movies would almost now become documentaries, and it would be interesting to see, like, in Watchmen, in the comic Watchmen. This is a bit of a departure. That like, no one reads superhero comics because everyone's sick of fucking seeing superheroes. So where does that leave? Where does that leave? Like, dinosaurs? Are people fucking sick of watching or reading about dinosaurs? Would that be the case? Or it's as you said, it's interesting. But no, go on. Sorry, I cut across you.
No, it's okay. So there's those. What was the other thing? I'm really keen to see what they do with the cast for the returning original trilogy, who they partner up with. especially Laura Dern's character, because we all know that in the original film she was a paleobotanist, so that's somebody that studies extinct plant matter. But how would that play into Dominion? Does she have a different degree now after it's been so long, or does she still rely on this, which would then mean is somebody not just recreating dinosaurs, but they're also recreating extinct ecosystems, which would then impact on not just the human civilizations, but natural wildlife, the planet as on global scale.
It would. A new plant species would also have a massive ecological effect on like regular animals kind of consuming it. One thing I was thinking that, and I don't know if anyone knows this, in Jurassic World, were the animals being fed plants and kind of foliage from their specific time period, and if so, when they escaped on the mainland, would like when they like passed like a kind of pooed or fucking past excrement, would that have seeded kind of plants as well? Like I'm just wondering.
Yeah.
Well, I know in Jurassic Park that there was extinct plants. We don't know whether they ate them, but they were there because like Ellie like talks about it and it's like, this is stupid. Why no weird. And then so maybe, but
So those are the main ones. But then the other thing I would like to see is I want to see Roberta die. I want to see Blue die, and I also want to see one of either the new trilogy or the old trilogy cast members die as well. That's the other thing that I want to see.
You're fucking Grim Reaper, Mike.
I am a Grim Reaper. Well, let's put it this way. Roberta's old enough now that she's probably at the end of her lifetime anyway. I mean, we don't know how long T-Rexes would be going for, but because she's genetically modified, we don't know what sort of her lifespan should be. So to me, it would make sense that she's probably going to be, this will be their last appearance in the franchise. Blue, I would like to see die because I would like to see Owen have that emotional connection, kind of similar to how Turner and Hooch had their connection in that film.
Yeah.
So not only would that be impactful for him as a character, which would be a fantastic story arc for him, but it would also be impactful for the fans that grew up with the previous 3 films. But then I also want to see an original character die. I mean, a new trilogy character I'd like to see die as well, but I can't pick who I would want because Claire's a good character story, Owen's a good character story. Hell, even bloody Maisie now has a good story arc with being a clone and herself.
We want kids to die in these movies.
I'd love to see a kid die. I would love to see a kid die, but I'll tell you that in a moment, actually.
Right now.
But in terms of the original trilogy cast, it's like you've got Jeff Goldblum, who's been instigating from the start why these animals shouldn't be let loose at all ever, and his death would be quite poignant. Grant has been quite a strong character for the first film and the third film, so his death would be quite poignant. Sattler, I'm not too sure about because she's not only been in the first film, and technically, could you really call her role in the third film a cameo because it was just so short in itself? But if she did survive, it would give value to her line in the first film: "Dinosaurs eat man, woman inherits the earth." And that's pretty much it.
I genuinely can't see him killing any of the old trilogy cast because I can just see fucking absolute uproar and pandemonium.
Yeah, it really depends how like willing Trow is to be. Well, the word's ballsy. But personally, like I'd be sad about it, but like I think that'd be a cool creative thing to do. I mean, because personally, I liked all of the like original trilogy deaths and the Star Wars. So like. I mean, I don't know, it's a weird thing.
Yeah.
I mean, Cian, if you had to pick a character to get to Chopper, which do you think would you be happy to see go, or do you think it'd have the most emotional impact? Who would you pick?
Owen. I have never been able to just. I just really.
Dude, this is my stream. I am full on dirty Irishman. If you want to swear or curse or fucking.
No.
go turn the air blue. Feel free, man. If you want to just
Shit, tits, bollocks,
give him a bollocking. Give him a bollocking if you want.
Frick.
I just have never been able to just like him really that much. And I know people love him, and he's like the face of Jurassic World. Even though, you know, I like Claire, and I like Malcolm, and I like Dr. Sattler, and I like Dr. Grant. But Owen, it's not that I don't like him. Like, he's okay, but I just can't like grasp him the same way I can grasp the other characters. So maybe him.
Would you? For me, I'm on the same kind of parallel as you, Keane, because he's essentially an action figure. He's essentially this Navy guy who can talk to dinosaurs, who can punch up trained mercenaries, he's got a bike, he's got a cool rifle, he pets dinosaurs. You know, I get that. I guess he's
like everything, you know, like the perfect thing. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
so
he's like the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the Jurassic Park franchise.
Yeah,
it's like you feel like nothing can touch him. I mean, for crying out loud, he flopped away from lava. For fuck's sake! I mean, for crying out loud.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that just proves my point. Exactly. So Owen for me.
James, did you want to talk about what you were looking forward to, or what you're kind of worried about, or are you kind of like?
I'm always worried about fan reactions. It's always the biggest thing for me. I don't even care how good a movie is. I just want people to shut up. That's my biggest thing.
Enjoy the movie, yeah. It's
you know, not even enjoy a movie. Just like, you know, if you don't like it, please just let it go.
Yeah.
Just stop having the outrage. I'm so tired. Every time, it doesn't matter what movie it is. Like Fallen Kingdom, even if you thought, oh, well, that was okay, that was okay, or that was bad, just please shut up. I'm so tired.
See the problem with the fandom, and not necessarily, sorry to cut in there, sorry, James, with the fandom, and not just this fandom, but any fandom, is that now that we have social media, people think they have the right to voice an opinion and get a result from it. Like when we had JP 1 through to 3, we had characters being killed off more or less in any shape or form. So, for example, Eddie Carr, you know, the guy didn't do anything wrong, and he was torn in half by 2 T-Rexes.
Oh yeah, he got Lady in the Tramp in that fucking scene, man.
Exactly. But in Jurassic World, Zara gets picked up by a pteranodon and then eaten by a mosasaur, and everybody outcried, "Oh, she didn't deserve her death. What did she do wrong?" Well, they're animals. They don't. They don't care who you are.
Like they're animals. They're not good or evil. They're not fucking passing judgment.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter if you robbed a church or fucking worked in a charity shop. A lion is still going to fucking eat you if it's hungry, like, you know.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's like before we had social media, if people had issues with Eddie Carr's death, saying he didn't deserve his death, no one cared because no one was voicing their opinion on a magical internet fairy land saying, "Oh, well, I think we should sign a petition and get this changed for Jurassic World 3. But now we've got social media and everything. Everyone thinks that their opinions are... I mean, opinions are opinions. I ain't got anything against people having opinions. What I've got the problem with is that people voicing those opinions and then saying, "I'm right, you're wrong, therefore you're the person that's in the wrong." That's my issue with it. So anyway, back to you, Jen.
Sorry, just the thing is...
Go on, James. Go on.
Yeah, the thing is, there's opinions, and then there's like biases. Like an opinion is a thing. It's purely subjective, and I think when you recognize that you know what, like it's like, oh, I like this movie for this reason. You don't like us, but I think that's okay. But then there's the whole bias part where you think the reason you like it is the reason the movie's either good or don't like it is the reason the movie's good or bad, and that means that's fact, and that's where you could get into the whole higgledy-piggledy thing.
Yeah.
My friend Anthony pointed out that Chris Pratt is actually a self-admitted hunter and poacher, and it's kind of a bit of a fucking joke, considering he's representing an extinct animal in the fucking movie. But yeah, no, it's a thing that like should fandom and real life affect. Can you separate things like the art from the artist or public opinion from the medium? And yeah, it's when when a studio bends to the whim of the fandom, that it negatively impacts the movie. That's when you're worried. That's when you start. Has the fandom a bit too much of a voice, like, you know? So I'm gonna rip up a new topic. I think a lot of us are on the same level first. Biosyn being reintroduced. For me, it's way too little and it's way too fucking late. James, what's your thoughts on Biosyn being introduced at the 11th hour?
I don't even hate Biosyn or Dodgson. I hate the fan base of Biosyn and Dodgson. Like, I don't understand why it exists. It was great in The Lost World. Like, all that stuff was really cool. It doesn't work when you've seen the same Dodgson character for 3 movies. Like Ludlow and all the guys had an entire movie of evil dudes, and then you had Hoskins and Wu, and then you come in, you know, Eli Mills and all these guys. They've done every single part of what Dodgson was, and now he's. I think it works in like a whole the trilogy, the saga has come full circle kind of way. I like it that way because it's like, it begins how it ends sort of thing. I like those sort of stories. I just don't get the hype, I guess.
Cian, what's your thoughts? Do you think Biosyn is kind of they've been introduced a little late into the game to make any difference?
Definitely is late being introduced. Obviously, it's the 6th movie in now, but no, I am excited still to like actually finally get more, you know, like actual physical like in the film about them, and I am excited for that. And Dodgson, as James said, like Eli Mills and stuff, they kind of, I guess, were similar to him. So I don't know. I am like excited to see Dodgson back, and I think it's gonna be interesting.
Sorry, go on, Cian. What were you going to say?
No, go on.
Just like again, I think that now that all this genetic material is released, why pick Biosyn? There could have been so many companies and so many other kind of like.
I think I've also thought. I think it's purely because you remember how a lot of the criticism towards Fallen Kingdom was like, where did this Lockwood guy come from? These guys were here the entire time. People they like to have things that are familiar, but they also don't. And let's just say like I'm trying to think. Let's say they had like multiple generic bad guys. So like, it's the Russians. They're making the dinosaurs, right? People were like, well, that's just stupid. You bring in Dodgson, suddenly it's like, I love Dodgson. He was in that 5-minute scene from the first movie, and I liked him in that one book. That's I think, like, I'm not like saying this that's a negative reason towards the movie, but I think this is the way they've kind of solved the idea of, instead of having to create new villains who people will hate, you create old ones, and if people hate them, it's just like whatever. But like new ones seem to be, I guess, the ones people get angry towards for some reason now.
Neelis, Mike, have you any thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on Biosyn being introduced?
I don't know if they've left.
Neelis.
I don't know if Neelis has left or not or something.
What I think of it,
sorry.
I agree.
Go on,
I
Neelis.
agree. It's a bit late for him to come back, but also I think we discussed this last time. Like the technology is out there, the DNA is out there, and there's a passage in the book where they describe how someone walks out of a lab with material just on their fingernails, and I mean they had a whole open park. You could have just gone to the petting zoo and have that dinosaur lick your fingers, and there you have your DNA. So
that's probably the most anticlimactic origin of like
what they're up
film
to.
ever.
Yeah.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm interested to see and hear what they're planning for him, but it seems a bit late to reintroduce him to the series.
Yeah, I'm in two minds of this. I'm happy that he's coming back and that we're getting to see Biosyn, because it was just kind of like left on a cliff edge on the first film. But I agree with you guys, is that it's a little too late in some aspects, because unless they're now going to start writing into canon that Biosyn has been in the background the whole time and kind of do like a Rise of Skywalker bullshit.
Like, would you say but put the fucking the Jurassic Park Chaos Continues video game into canon with all the fucking commandos going to the island?
Oh Jesus! It's just anything but that. But yeah, in terms of having them come back. I mean, if they were to write it in as okay, well, the Raptors on in the third film were actually Biosyn Raptors and were nothing to do with Doctor Wu, then I could kind of buy that a little bit more. But I think it's all been confirmed that all these hybrids like the Spino, the Raptors, and anything up to Jurassic World were all done by Wu off books. So to me, then you have to ask yourself, well, what's Bison been doing the whole time? Have they just kind of been sat in a cave waiting for the day that they say, oh, so the dinosaurs are open source now, boys, come on, we can start rolling out. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It'll be interesting to see what the sort of like the story they write for it. But I know that this isn't going to be the final film now. We are going to get other films outside of this. So could this be now that Biosyn have resurfaced and are going to be fairly prominent in the franchise after this point? Or is it just going to be a one-trick pony and that's it? They just disappear after this film again? But one thing I will also say is I'm really glad they didn't get the same actor back to play Dodgson.
Yeah, they didn't get him out of prison.
That guy's a piece of crap in my eyes.
Because as soon as I heard that, he was like, well, they got him out of prison? How?
Put that into the plot somehow at Dodgson's like kind of a bit of a shady dude in other respects other than dinosaurs. That'll be something.
I also think introducing Biosyn at this stage as well. What's the point if these animals are running around so prominent? Like, would it not be? It wouldn't be like that difficult for different companies to fucking capture one and siphon DNA and stuff. I think the kind of corporate espionage kind of thing, as you said, James, has run its course. We've seen different variations and characters kind of have traits of Dodgson and have traits of Biosyn, and it's just, I don't know, it's a little too late. Going back to an earlier thing I brought up, the more accurate dinosaurs, apparently we're going to get them. Do you think that it will be a result of them coming to, as I said, coming to the mainland, or as a result of Biosyn or some other company fucking around with their genetic code?
Well, if you want an explanation for it, it'll be companies. But if you, Mike, it could just be we've changed the dinosaurs this time to appease the people who won't shut up about it. So dinosaurs could just look different, and that could just be it.
I get what you're saying, but I think people might be pissed if it's like, oh, this is what Blue looks like now, or this is what Rex looks like now, without an explanation.
You can't change Velociraptors now. You can't go back. Like, in fact, you can't even go back. In fact, you had feathers for a little bit, and then you went back again. So you can't go forward, back again. Whatever the way is.
Cian, what's your take on it? Would you be happy to see more accurate, kind of screen accurate dinosaurs? If they did, would you prefer a good explanation first?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if we were going to get more accurate dinosaurs, it would have to be like with like the introduction of Biosyn now, because as James said, I think you can't change the raptors now, again, because people, for Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom, they changed back to kind of the previous style before Jurassic Park 3. So obviously it has to be like, with Biosyn's introduction, maybe, because then it will obviously distinguish and they'll be different than InGens. So they could give us like feathered raptors and stuff like that, which is flown about. So that could be interesting if they done it like that.
Neelis, what do you think, dude? You there? And Mike, either.
Right. Okay, yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, so in terms of feathered raptors and so forth, or paleoaccurate dinosaurs, I should say in general, it'll definitely be a company thing. I'd be very surprised if they go about the explanation that they try to force on people in JP3 that because dinosaurs are left to their own device, that they can somehow evolve like a Pokemon into the next level of evolution, some bullshit. So yeah, it'll definitely be company.
To do with the mating stuff. Maybe the more pure dinosaur stuff comes out.
Yeah.
But that's my only explanation for it in that movie.
Yeah,
but I don't
yeah.
really care because I know it's just like Jurassic Park 3 was just a movie where they wanted to do what they wanted. So like
yeah, but their argument in JP3 was it was like, okay, so the reason the raptors look the way they are now is because they are effectively growing via evolution into more bird-like raptors rather than it being a case of being genetically tampered with, which is what they've now written into canon now. But yeah, for them to turn around and say, right, okay, this is now blue and look, she has feathers, it would just be too far right wing for it to be plausible. But one thing I will bring the other reason why
as well.
Exactly, yeah. But the other reason why I think it would be really good as well for Blue to die as well, going back to my earlier point, is that if you now have feathered raptors in the franchise, killing Blue off, who is effectively the last raptor of the original Jurassic franchise in the scaleless, the featherless version, then by killing her off, yes, you're ending a chapter in that, but you're also opening up a door for the newer variations of raptors that you're going to get through.
Kind of like passing the torch to
exactly.
Even with the Brachiosaurus death was technically that, that was
exactly, yeah.
So you can, I'm sure you can do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that. The JP Brachie in Fallen Kingdom is almost like a closure on the Jurassic Park franchise for the fans that grew up with the island. The Blue Death would be closure for the Jurassic World fandom that are still having to make do with older designs of the animals. So anything after this point is, we're getting paleoaccurate animals. We're probably going to get more interesting locations and storylines. Like I'm still in the hopes that we'll get a Jaws-esque Mosasaur spin-off movie. That sort of thing would just be absolutely mental to watch. And there was another point I was trying to get at as well, and I forgot what it was now. What was it? Come on, Mike. Think. I can't remember. Keep talking, everyone else.
I was just using a placeholder opinion until I thought of a different opinion to use.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. So the other thing about the not just Biosyn creating dinosaurs, but other companies is that we may get to see variations of the same animal. So you could be getting some variations that are kind of like the Charles R. Knight versions of dinosaurs, where it's kind of like the kangaroo posture or the really heavily armored triceratops, those sort of things.
The Jurassic Park movie where all the dinosaurs are like from the 1800s or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I keep on thinking.
You know what? I don't like Iguanodon the way it looks now. I preferred it back in the 1800s.
That Iguanodon design. Oh my god, the thing looks like a fucking iguana fucked a rhino. Jesus Christ!
But yeah, so that might give an interesting thing, because it's still keeping in with the kind of like the whole science fiction theme of what the Jurassic franchise is, while still playing up to Jurassic fans that like all varieties of dinosaurs and not just the niche group of, I prefer dinosaurs with feathers because it's what it is now. I still prefer the Harryhausen stuff, but I still accept the feathered stuff because it's the way that progression goes with paleontology. So I accept on both sides. So that's my thoughts on all that. I heard
but yeah, no, it is. I think it'd be very jarring if it was like the movie opens up and all the animals have feathers and shit because of the climate. If they did, they would have to have a very specific, good explanation first. Okay, so Plesiosaurus, Cian, you want to see? James, what dinosaur would you like to see introduced into this new movie?
There's a problem because, I think after all this time, there's not many predators I like enough to be put them in a weird way. I really love baryonyx, so I got that right.
Yeah.
Like my mosasaur, I got that.
I have an idea, and it's probably you guys are gonna laugh. But as I'm saying, I want to see how not only the animals having an adverse effect on like contemporary Earth, but maybe people also kind of integrate them into their life. So I don't know. Imagine an inner city Latino gang, and instead of fucking staffies or pit bulls, they have Dimetrodons. Just I want to see a gang with a Dimetrodon on a leash.
Oh my god!
I would adore that. I would just these guys like pit fighting, fucking. Okay. Hear me out, guys. Right? Say Owen is trying to track down like a black market dinosaur smuggling ring, and he ends up getting extensively what's in like the third act of Training Day, where he gets captured by this gang and thrown into a pit with like a Dimetrodon, and he's about to be eaten, and then fucking maybe Blue has tracked him, has been following him. And you get a pit fight.
I was going to say it's on a fist fight, the Dimetrodon.
Yeah.
I was getting hyped there.
you could do that as well. But I would like to see like maybe people out in a kind of poorer country using a Triceratops or a Pachycephalosaurus as to plow a field or something like that.
Yes, that could be really cool.
Very Dinotopian, you know.
Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah, no, and again, as Anthony pointed out, there needs to be an introduction of more Triassic creatures. I know a Dimetrodon isn't a dinosaur and he's not from the actual dinosaur, but I would like to see. Do you think? I don't know how I'd feel if they started bringing in Smilodons and woolly mammoths, but I would like to see like something maybe like Plesiosaurus or Dimetrodon or Anatotitan or something from that region, you know. Mike, what creature would you like to see turn up in the movie?
Apart from the return of the Dilophosaurus, which would be, it's personally been my dream since The Lost World, to be honest with you. So it'd been good to see that back, and at the size that it was depicted in the hologram, not the original JP version, which is a juvenile, I'm sure of it. But in terms of a new dinosaur, I would probably have to go with. Oh, come on, Mike! Think. Definitely something carnivorous, because I think we get plenty of not herbivores and so forth to go at. I don't know. We've got Allosaurus now, so I can't even say that one. Oh God, come back to me later. I'm trying to think.
Well, what do you think about Coelophysis?
I'm not a massive fan of Coelophysis. Oh, go on, James. Go on.
I think the best idea is that it doesn't even matter what kind of dinosaur it is. The dinosaur needs to have some kind of weird quirk or ability that like separates it. Because like, think about it, like every dinosaur we have seen has been different. It doesn't matter whether they're like like a super dinosaur, like a T-Rex. You know, like its thing is big, scary, can't see very well, right?
Yeah.
We need the best way to bring a new dinosaur in is to have it have some kind of quirk that makes it either like weak or strong or whatever, you know?
Yeah. Actually, I'll tell you one dinosaur I would like to see, and it's one that's been relatively new to paleontology for, I think it's for a couple of years now. Tyrannotitan. It's kind of like a more beefed up version of a T-Rex, but it's more closely related to Giganotosaurus than it is a T-Rex. So it still has the two qualities of the two dinosaurs, but it is its own unique animal.
I'm guessing it's bigger than the T-Rex.
I think it's bigger than the T-Rex. I'm not actually overly clued up on its size, but I know in terms of if you were to compare a Giganotosaurus and a T-Rex, it's literally kind of like a hybrid between the two, but it's its own separate species.
Yeah, I only like it if it sounds bigger. That's the only way I know how big it is.
I mean, just saying the name alone, Tyrannotitan, it sounds like a fucking beast of a monster.
Question to the chat. Anyone in the chat, what dinosaurs would you like to see turn up in Dominion? And if you leave in the chat, I'll mention it.
Triceratops.
He's getting back. Like, here's the thing, right? This movie hopefully is coming out on the anniversary of JP3, right? I think it's the 20 anniversary, 20 year.
Yeah,
It's
2001.
19 years, right? Just Part 3, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
So I think in a way, like I'd like to see a lot of like parallels to Jurassic Park 3, given this trilogy is kind of like a parallel to the previous one in many ways. I'd like to see some of them. So shove a tricycle plots in. Why the hell not? You know, so just have like Paul Kirby, like he somehow got into the evil dinosaur business,
Kind
and
of
he's
like
like, I've got an idea.
lying on the table, like, Kirby.
James, you expect Paul Kirby to go from a fucking Thompson tiles factory to working in some covert
Come on,
clandestine.
like the world's obsessed with dinosaurs now. Like it's easy to get a job in dinosaurs now, right? Because they're everywhere, you know. Like, and like that's I mean, and he couldn't pay a grant back, so he has to get the money from somewhere, you know. So why not go into the evil dinosaur corporation business? You know, get some money.
Guys,
And then Grant's like, here's that $2 million I owe you, Grant. Here you go.
the guys, a friend of mine, Deacon, he's actually said, would it be jumping the shark if they put in more hybrid dinosaurs and creatures? Like, have we seen that, or would you like to see more fucking like
I want
Stegoceratops?
to make them all hybrids, so that
Do we
people
want to
get
see
angry.
Stegoceratops?
God, all my decisions are just things that make people angry. I've just realised that every opinion I have is all like, I want thing that'll make me happy because it'll make other people angry. That's everything all I ever want in movies now. I'm nuts. I just want an entire movie of hybrids just so people cry about it.
I wouldn't like hybrids in this one. I'm not against hybrids per se. Although I am more in line with, I would rather see unknown dinosaurs that aren't in our obvious fossil record, because one of the things I've always had a gripe with the Indominus Rex is that it was a Velociraptor T-Rex hybrid, whereas the original concept for it was an unknown dinosaur that wasn't in the fossil record, so they were dealing with something they just didn't know.
It looked like a mangy Ceratosaurus. If
So
I remember the picture.
Yeah, so to me, it's like I would prefer those sort of dinosaurs over hybrids. But technically, as you said, James, as well, all the dinosaurs are hybrids in this franchise anyway. They just look more like dinosaurs than what they should be, really. But yeah, it's.
Okay, so the next kind of thing I want to broach is an out of universe, an actual real world topic. When do you think we'll see this movie? If you have
Never. It's never coming up.
Coronavirus has taken over the world now. It's the end for us.
Put it this way: if Christopher Nolan couldn't get his movie out during this whole thing, I don't think we're going to see any movie ever. Unless it goes direct to streaming services or something. But,
James, as a springboard from that question, would you be okay? Would you guys be okay watching it if it ended up on VOD, or would you be annoyed?
I'd be annoyed.
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, same.
I mean, just think, like apparently JP3 was my first movie. Apparently, I don't remember it, but Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom were my theater experiences of Jurassic Park, and that's what I think that's what made them special to me. Meanwhile, I guess the original trilogy was all just me watching the same videos over and over and never stopping rewinding them. So it's like, I know, I think I like the theater experience now.
I've seen every single Jurassic movie in the cinema, and I would be devastated if I didn't get to see it in the big screen, because for me, I made a video on this. The first Jurassic Park is what gave me a love for cinema and gave me a love for special effects, and I think fucking Neelis has been periodically fucking kidnapped. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think he's having mic trouble.
Yeah. Just to bounce off what you were saying as well. The thing, I really don't hope that any kind of distributor, whether it be producers or salespeople or anybody, will decide never to go back with cinema, because the problem that having something to stream on your TV is great if you have something of a cinematic sort of experience there. But
like a projector, and not just something that's like a
14-inch TV screen or whatever you want to call it. Something that is literally the size of a cinema. Even a drive-through cinema sort of scale is pretty impressive. But the thing that people don't understand with the difference between a theatre experience and a TV experience is that if you've grown up watching something from day one on the TV, and my examples would be the original King Kong and Jason and the Argonauts, right? For all my life, I've only seen them on the small screen. I've had the privilege of seeing those films screened at theatres, and pretty decent sized theatres at that. And I tell you something, you have so much more appreciation for those films seeing them on a big screen. Now, these are films that were done in like the 30s and the 60s. So think about what a film of today's caliber would be if you only ever saw it on a small screen. You lose all the detail. You lose
the luster would be definitely lost.
Exactly.
Just dipping into the chat here. Deacon was saying, going back to what you were saying, Mike, he'd love to have seen a movie that's like The Meg, involving the aquatic creatures from this franchise, if there was a spin-off. And my friend Anthony wants to know, and I already know the answer to this, the human hybrid storyline, has that been put to bed, or do you think it's still in the pipe? Could we still see it?
Definitely coming. And I have a secret inside source. Do trust me. Right? I know. At the very end of the movie, it's going to be the end credits stinger. Absolutely knows. In fact, it's not even a hybrid. It's a hybrid of a caveman and a normal human, and you put them together, and there's just a tiny bit of dinosaur DNA. So maybe he has, like, I don't know, a reptile nose or something, and there you go. That's.
Have you guys seen the Universal Universal Halloween Nights attraction with like the human hybrids, and like one of them
just that video about it,
One of them is called Pterodactyl. He's a man crossed with a pterodactyl.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
It's really bad, and I no disrespect to the people that worked on that, but some of the costumes are just like, there's a guy with basically half a human face and half a Dilophosaurus face. It's just
it's melted. It's melted into the side of the fucking Dilophosaurus head.
I think it's so like badly done that it goes back around to being good to me.
Yeah, it's like 50s B movie bad, so good.
Anthony's saying, he kind of could be like Kirk Connors, the lizard from Spider-Man.
Yes,
we got something like that.
Oh yeah.
Guys,
like a Jekyll and Hyde dinosaur person, I guess that'd be interesting.
I'm looking forward to the movie. I hope it kind of gives a bit of closure and wraps up. Well, I enjoyed an enjoyable trilogy. I know the trilogy has a lot of problems. And it's never those movies. Any of the movies are never going to capture like the feel and vibe of the first Jurassic Park. But I like the fact that my nephew, who is like 6, he can watch these movies, and he comes to me and he goes, "Oh, have you any books on dinosaurs?" And he says, and I know a lot of the stuff is very inaccurate. Fucking 80% of it is inaccurate. But the fact these movies can get kids interested in dinosaurs. Yeah. I have to give them that. I can't shaft them off on that. Final thoughts. What do you think? What do you think? Like, will Dominion be a branch into this new trilogy, or do you think it'll wrap stuff up? Or what do you
want to be really closed? Like a bit like Jurassic World. Like, there was setup, but like the setup happened early on. It wasn't like a stinger for like another movie. Like the setup could have just like went nowhere, And I think I'd like it a bit more like that.
Yeah, it's like, Keen, how do you see this movie ending? Do you see the dinosaurs still being alive by the closing credits, or do you see Earth being kind of like finally adapted to having dinosaurs as part of the ecosystem?
I really don't know how they're gonna what they're gonna do with it. Like Battle at Big Rock, as someone said earlier, I absolutely love that. That was really cool, and it was filmed here in Ireland, which makes it even better.
You bastard.
But
I said the Keen were discussing trying to find out where exactly it was fucking filmed and getting down there, and it would
Power Score Estate, it's called. It's in Wexford or something. I'm gonna go down there one day during this, like someday next month, and I have to go down there and see it. I have to.
Come here, just make sure that you tell people what you're doing, because like you don't want some old fucking farmer with a Beagle shotgun coming out going, "Get off me fucking land!"
Yeah. Yeah.
If
that
any
would be really
experience, sorry, mate, I'm just cutting there.
There.
If there's anything that I've learned from my time when I've worked over in Ireland, is as long as you get in touch with the right groundskeeper, they'll let you on the property, because they did that with me for Robert Shaw's property. So yeah, if you don't want to get a 6-round mill in your leg or anything like that, just email everybody until someone comes back.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, go on, Keane. You were saying though, you're not sure how it'll end or what do you think?
Yeah, I literally have no idea. I'm just, as I said, like Battle at Big Rock was really cool and I really enjoyed it. And if that's a glimpse into what Dominion's going to offer us, then I'm excited for that. But as I think, wasn't it Frank Marshall said that this isn't the end of Jurassic movies? So
it's going to spark a new kind of series.
Yeah. So I don't know. I literally have no idea as to, but I'm just really excited to just see what they do with it. And I have faith in Colin and Emily. I think it'll be good, hopefully.
Neelis, where do you hope, or where do you see this movie? What you hope that have happened by the closing credits?
I again have no idea. Can you hear me, by the way? Because I had some trouble with the audio.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, great, excellent. I have no idea. I think the dinosaurs won't have gone extinct magically by the end of the last film, and like you said, it's probably a springboard for a new series of films or new projects, because this franchise, the new films, are making a massive amount of money. They're not going to let that slip from their fingers. They're just going to continue with it as long as it's successful. So I think it's going to be an open ending, and then they start something new movies or a new TV show or whatever.
Mike, what do you hope to have seen achieved or happen to this universe by the end of the closing credits?
So at the end of Dominion, what I would like to see is that it bookends the InGen Masrani Corporation storyline. So everything that we've seen through JP 1 to 3 is tied up in Dominion, and everything that's obviously had a story arc from Jurassic World to Dominion is finished. After that, I would like to see more individual films or individual trilogies that are still centered around the whole Jurassic franchise as a whole, but not following on with these characters. I don't mind them coming in as a cameo. So, for example, if Claire was to survive Dominion, that she would appear in, I don't know, Jurassic Universe 12, the Rites of Spring or some shit like that. I'm quite happy with that. But if we then go on to Jurassic World 7, The Rise of Dinosaurs, and they're all back into it again, and they're all bloody sitting in a log cabin, it's just going to feel too samey to what we've already seen. It's a different environment this time, and there's nothing really different about putting the same characters in a different environment. They're all going to act the same. But I would also like to see TV shows. I'd like to see.
We're getting Camp Cretaceous, which I like, because
I definitely like
my nephew's a bit young. I can't show him all the Jurassic Park movies, but I do like that. We're getting that.
Camp Cretaceous is going to be weird for the guys who are really obsessed with continuity. I mean, I used to be that guy, so I would know. It's good because it's like set during the Jurassic World movie, but like things happen that shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
I know it's just a kids show, but like that's gonna. I mean, that's the thing about TV shows when you set them during a movie, not like.
I think if Cian, you might be able to back me up on this, but it's going to be set around the same time the Indominus escapes, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so like the first movie, or like Jurassic World, it's going to be set when that whole like time period throughout that movie. Yeah.
So guys, it's almost at the hour mark, so I might wrap it up here. But before I go, I'm going to start off with you, Mike. Is there anything you want to plug? Is there anything you want to mention? I'm going to be leaving links, but is there anything you want to tell anyone watching? Like,
hell, Right, so for starters, I have a trailer out for a short film that I'm working on which is going to be donated to the Ray and Diana Harryhausen Foundation to celebrate Ray's 100th birthday. It's a trailer under the name of Wildlife on Mars. So if you all remember that tiny little newspaper article that was on the fridge in the trailer for the Jurassic Park with the dig scene, has a little tagline on this saying "Dinosaurs found on Mars." So potentially, this is what that scenario might have been. So it's all alien dinosaurs. So go check that out. I also have a crowdfunder, which is buymeacoffee.com, which people can just put donations towards me. It helps out with doing materials and what have you for my live streams and what have you. And apart from that, yeah, you can just follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mike Tharme.
Cool. Keane, what's next? Have you any particular videos coming out? Is there anything you want to plug while you have the audience?
I do. I have I'm working on a toy movie at the moment, which I'm really excited about. It's a whole script. The script's just about to be finished today. We have to get it done today. Filming next week and stuff, and hopefully it'll be out sometime in August. I'm really excited for it. And I have some people in the community and doing some voices, so I'm going to just figure out a few more characters, but I am really excited for it. That's it. Reviews, as I said, they'll keep coming. I haven't done a review in 2 weeks because I've been working on the movie, but hopefully reviews will be back once the movie's done. And yeah, that's it. I've Instagram at Jurassic_Collector_official and my YouTube channel, and that's it.
I'll fire down the links and stuff. James, what's on the horizon for you? Have you any new videos in the pipeline or anything?
No, I mean, I spend a lot of my time like writing scripts for like analysis things I want to do, and like movies and games and things. Like, I want to talk about like themes and politics and them and stuff. And
have you any tube talks planned or? Because I know there's some people.
The whole idea is that I want to talk to anyone. It doesn't have to be a YouTube either. It could be any form of content creator, whether they're a writer or whatever. So I guess I'd be looking for people. I know there were two people who I was talking to for a while, but I don't know how that's gonna go. I don't know how I feel about it. So I guess there's nothing really happening yet.
Neelis, I know you don't have a channel exclusively, but
I have something to plug.
Oh, cool! Come on,
Yeah,
fucking plug it.
Go to the Outpost, Jurassic Outpost, and buy a mug. Buy a mug.
Okay, we'll do that. Come here,
Support
guys.
the
I
Outpost.
just want to say it was an absolute pleasure having you on. Keane, you're a legend. James, you're a legend. Neelis, you're a legend. Mike, you're an absolute fucking legend. You're all legends, guys. And if anyone's watching, check out these fuckers' channels because they're all brilliant. And yeah, my name's Martin, and thanks for tuning in. So have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye now.
See you.
Bye. See you.
Bye.